Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with Kenya Carr. Excited to have her here from beautiful Centerville, Virginia. She's the founder, CEO, and coach of Life Chapters Coaching. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Fantastic. It's always good on Fridays.
I
Friday
know,
is a
right?
good day no matter what.
TGIF,
That's
exactly.
right.
So you're offering health coaching, life coaching, relationship coaching. There's so much to you. So let me just ask you to please introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah, so as Jill just mentioned, Kenya Carr, life coach and founder of Life Chapters Coaching. I have been in business 5 years this month. Started my own personal journey of working on my life, working on my health, working on my, just all the things in life that are important to us to get us to where we want to be. And just have always had a passion for helping people. And I believe we're all on this earth to serve our purpose. And for some of us, it's finding that purpose. So I'm happy that I found mine and like to help others find theirs and get to where they want to be in life.
Beautiful. And as a proud mama of two, tell me about your family. I want to hear.
Yeah, so I have two sons. Christopher is 15, he'll be 16 in October. And then my youngest, Noah, is 13. He just had a birthday last year. And they are my hearts. They keep me grounded. I always say God gave me two boys to teach me patience. I'm still working on it.
One mom of two boys to another. Mine are 6 and 8. I get it. But I thought does it get easier when they get older?
I don't know. It's all relative, right? Because as I'm sure you've experienced, both of them are very different, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah, which is kind of good because they got to balance each other. They can't both be like train wrecks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's every stage is beautiful because you're growing together, right? You're learning. They always say there's no silver bullet to parenting, and there's never that one book that's going to tell you everything. It's trial and error, and we just go through it. We grow together. So that's the best part of it.
Well, thank you for being here. So let's talk specifically. I know you want to talk a little bit about breaking free of your own limiting beliefs. So a little bit of your backstory, if you don't mind sharing with us, and what brought you here.
All right. Yeah. In my past, I had some challenges. We all go through experiences, and for some of us, they're traumatic. And I have those a couple of those stories in my book, Battling the Flames. And I struggled with self-image issues at a very young age. I did not consider myself to be pretty. I felt like to be pretty, you had to have long hair. I was petite, still am, have what may be viewed as a squeaky voice. So when I was younger, I tried to like change my tone so that people would take me seriously, right? Like you ever hear that, command a certain presence. So it started out at a very young age, and I think I still exhibit it now in terms of my tone and pitch. It changes because it's just part of who I am to want to show up a certain way. And so as I grew in my life and got married, and I still had self-image issues, self-esteem issues, I had health issues. And I was just in a state where I felt very stuck. I did not know what to do. I was stuck in a failing marriage, and I did not like failure. I don't know anyone who does. To be in a marriage for many years and then to try everything and then say this is not working. One can look at it as a limiting belief of you failed, and another can look at it as you didn't fail because you kept trying and you learned through the process. And there's never a failure if you are trying and learning through the process. And so I just got to a point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired and wanted to take action instead. And God always speaks to me in the wee hours of the morning. And at 3 a.m., when I was thinking about finally pursuing a life coaching certification, this was after I was separated, I found Health Coach Institute, where you can become a health coach as well as a life coach and be certified. And that's where my journey and my true passion came into play. Is I was on my health journey, someone who has battled high blood pressure 3 times and kicked it for the 3rd time. I have my own story, and I do believe you cannot take anyone where you have not gone or not willing to go. And I have gone many places. And so when I'm coaching, I'm still on my own personal journey. Coaches always have to be on their own journey while they're helping their clients on theirs. And so I learned to break free of limiting beliefs and identify when they're coming up in my own thoughts and actions, as well as helping my clients do the same.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. Also, let's point out there's so much to the work that you're doing, and how do we reach you? The website is lifechapterscoaching.com, correct?
That is correct.
And I know
Yes.
the main focus for today, we want to talk more about the health practicing preventions of cardiovascular disease as well. When it comes to health coaching, you want to talk careers, relationship coaching. I'll let you take the wheel here. Go ahead, hon.
Sure, no problem. So as I was just saying, the health coaching piece, that is first and foremost my passion, because it's really near and dear to me and the challenges that I have faced. And it's challenging because it's about lifestyle, right? And we all grow up a certain way with certain habits, right? And it is very hard to shift those habits unless you're truly committed. And you can be committed, but you may also need help in following through on your commitments. That's where coaching comes into place. And so for me, I decided that amongst the different types of coaching around health that I offer, that my strong focus is around helping women practice prevention of cardiovascular disease, which high blood pressure is part of that. And high blood pressure specifically because it is known as a silent killer. A lot of times you don't even know you have it. We go to our doctors once a year if everything is normal, if we feel things are normal, and you get that blood pressure reading at one time. And some people have a good reading, and over time, things are fine. For others, they have these readings that are pre-hypertension and they're trying to manage it. And then the doctor says, we got to put you on meds, right? Once you go on those meds, you got to make a decision. Is this a lifelong decision to stay on the meds, or are there life-changing strategies that I can put in place to get off the meds? And so my mindset has always been prevention over medication. Mm-hmm. Blood pressure runs in my family. My dad has it. My grandfather has it. For some, it's hereditary. If I've kicked it several times, I've proven it's not hereditary in my case. It means that I do things in my life that are contributing to my health, be it good or bad. And if I want to make those changes, I have to do the work with help. And it's a lifestyle change. So I coach my clients on different techniques, experimentation, because everybody is unique. Therefore, every diet or lifestyle that they choose is unique to them. And it comes with practice, experimentation, seeing what works. And I do the same thing in my life. So I'm not coaching on things for the most part that I'm not practicing with myself. So what am I eating? What am I drinking? How am I moving my body? What are the thoughts I'm telling myself that perpetuate the stress or reduce it? You never fully eliminate stress, but there's things you can do to reduce it. All those things have.
Give us some tips.
What'd you say?
Give us some tips. What should we be doing?
Okay, so in the area of food, we need to make sure that we have the right balance of minerals. That's potassium, that's calcium, that's magnesium, right? So that's in the foods we eat. If I can give one tip, just like Popeye, spinach. Spinach. The amount of potassium and calcium in it contributes to the amount of milligrams that we need in our body every day, right? Another tip, you would not believe this, but for controlling blood pressure, red wine.
I had some of that last night. A little too much.
Well, not too much, right? It's recommended for women, preferably one glass, 5 to 8 ounces with your meals.
And hydrate, right? Water, taking a water break, right?
Absolutely. Water is another one. Potassium in bananas. Having a banana a day helps. People probably know this, beet juice. Very, very
I didn't know
good.
that.
Yes, beet juice is known to help control blood pressure.
Okay.
I personally have one of those small juicers, so I juice my own beet juice.
Wow.
And beet juice by itself, it's fine. Like if you don't like beet juice, some people don't like beets. Actually, I love beets. I'll eat them and I'll drink them. But beet juice and pineapple juice together, game changer. It tastes
Awesome.
so good, refreshing. So if you had a glass of beet juice in the morning as your part of your routine, that is helping to regulate your blood pressure throughout the day, right? Stress. How often are we being still, right? How often are we quieting our mind?
Mm-hmm.
Meditation, that helps. Progressive muscle relaxation helps to relax the body in a matter of seconds. So progressive muscle relaxation is when you tense every part of your body. And then you just let it.
Ah,
And it's just what you just said. It's that feeling of ah. And there's other breathing techniques you can do. So that's around stress. Movement. Notice I didn't say exercise. I said movement. Because exercise, using that word in our brain, can have a different response for different people. If you naturally don't like to exercise, and I say the word exercise, you're automatically going to resist.
yeah.
But if I say movement, the possibilities are endless, right? So we're moving away from limited beliefs to unlimited possibilities. Movement can come in all kinds of form to get your cardio up. I love to dance. So Friday nights, I'm at the salsa room doing bachata and salsa.
Awesome.
That is exercise. That is movement. So a number of different things that you can work on to manage your blood pressure and get it under control. But it's a lifestyle therapy and it's a combination of things. It's not just one thing.
All right. Thank you. Let's remind everyone, Kenya, how we could reach you.
Yeah, so you can reach me at my website, which is www.lifechapterscoaching.com. Or if it's easier for you to just pick up your phone and dial a number, 703-268-8075.
Perfect. All right, let's continue. So we're talking, again, to Kenya Carr here, learning a lot about the work she's doing, and not only with, health, you're also helping people, with their personal issues. And also got to bring up your book. You mentioned it briefly before, but that's pretty impressive. What's the title? And tell us how we get it, what it's about.
Sure. So it's called Battling the Flames. And you can get it at my other website, which is my personal branding website, which has more of the publications, but it also links to my coaching site. It's the website's www.kenyacarr.com. If you purchase the book through that website, I would personally sign it and ship it to you. And so Battling the Flames, the title did not come until I was 160th pages through writing the book. And flames and fire are used as a metaphor to describe how I felt about the experiences that I was going through, because fire can be used to create or destroy. So I had to decide what I wanted to do. And so throughout the book, I describe from the age of 5 all the way into my 40s, the different experiences I went through and the impacts they had. So each chapter starts with a quote that references fire, and it has either 1, 2, or 3 flames in it to describe the level of heat
Awesome.
of that what I was going through. So it's meant to share my life lessons, unabashed and unashamed, to help others with how they master their flames, because we all have a light, we all have a fire inside of us. And no matter what we go through, no matter what the cards of life were dealt, it's about never letting that light or fire go out, but rather igniting it more, right? Because when you're down, you're depressed, life's not going the way you want it to, sometimes we shrink and we hide, versus turn up the heat and take massive action with help to get to where you want to be. And some do it and do it well, but others, they need a little bit more help. And that's where the coaching comes in.
Beautiful. All right. So what else did you want to share? There's still so much to your list here. So
So I would share a little bit about coaching around careers. I think that's where a lot of people seek out help in coaching. So I also have a full-time job. I've been in human resources for 24 years. I started off as a headhunter recruiter and then moved into corporate recruiting and just have moved up in my career. And so I coach management level executives, directors on coaching their employees, how they want to show up. So their executive presence, believe it or not, time management. The higher up you go, the less time you have. And it's how do you manage your time and build in routines that help you balance your personal life with your professional life. And also I coach around interviewing, given my background as a headhunter. I coach on how do you show up so you stand out amongst your competition in interviewing. So that's something that I get into with my clients to help them find their next role.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And by the way, COVID changed so many of us. We had to learn how, rediscover new old talents, or that's so hard, right? I mean, did you work with or still work with clients from the pandemic that really had to reinvent themselves at the wheel?
Yeah, I've found that it is challenging for clients, particularly when they want to switch careers altogether. And it's helping them find what have you done over the years from a skill set perspective that are transferable. And that's what we highlight in your resume and when you interview. And so I'll give a couple of tips on certain questions that an interviewee, meaning if you're applying for a job, that I think is helpful to ask so that you stand out a little bit more. So one of the questions is, and this is kind of the connection that you're trying to create with the interviewer as well, right? So what's the one thing that's key to this company's success that somebody from outside the company wouldn't know about, right? Those little, it could be culture, dynamic, it could be something related to their ERGs, how do you connect really with the company? And so someone answering that question as an interviewer kind of has to dig a little bit deeper, right? If I'm an interviewee and I'm asking you a question and you say to me, that's a good question, let me think about that. You got them. As the interviewee, you've got them now because you're forcing them to go a little bit deeper where normally the tables are reversed. The interviewer is asking you to go deeper, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, that's a good question. Let me think about that. That pregnant pause is the acknowledging the question, which gives you as the person responding time to really think about what it is that you want to say.
Yeah.
So that is one question. Another question is, how did you get your start in this industry? And why do you stay? Right? Again, you're personalizing it, right? So you're getting that interviewer to connect with you on a deeper level, which doesn't always happen in an interview, right? Because when you're interviewing for a job, you're getting asked all the questions, right? And I will tell you this, the best interview is when it sounds like a conversation and not question, answer. It should be natural.
Flow.
So if you as the interviewee are just speaking naturally as though you're just in a meeting, it's going to come across as this person sounds confident, they're poised, I can see them sitting across from an executive and that they're going to show up well, right? Because you only get it one time to make a good impression is that first time. So another question is, if we're going to have a very successful year in 2024, what will that look like? What will we have done over the next 6 months to make it successful?
Yeah.
How does this position help achieve those goals? Right? The position that I'm interviewing for, it helps me understand what is the impact that I'm expected to make and by when, right? That lets the interviewer know, wow, I am thinking strategically about a role that I don't even really know about. And by you as the interviewer answering that question, you're helping me know if this is the right fit for me, if I'm a right fit for you and you're a right fit for me, because I'm asking those very important questions in that first meeting
Yeah.
or that interview. Very, very critical.
Interesting. All right. Good to know. Thank you. I'm like, I'm interviewing now too. I'm interviewing you. Wait, I got to be more attentive. I have to be more.
No. It's natural, right? We're
Could
having
you
a
sh-
natural conversation.
Totally. But could you share some of the people that you've helped? Give us some examples of the type of people that you're working with. I think that could
Yes.
always help.
Sure. So I am helping, and I can't share too much
Okay,
information
without
about
using their
the
names, but
people.
yes.
Right. So I'm helping people at different levels of management. So we're talking senior director, vice presidents, SVPs, from a outside coaching perspective. And it also folds into my day job as well. Naturally, it's what I do in my day job as well. I'm also coaching. It's a very popular skill set that has been, I guess, in place, I would say the last 5 to 7 years, is coaching professionals in the technology industry, because that is also my background in terms of coaching and doing HR for IT professionals. So there is a project management in IT is moving over to be termed as Scrum Masters, right? So I have coached Scrum Masters who want to elevate in their career as Scrum Masters. And one person that I have recently coached has that background, but also decided to become a coach herself, believe it or not, just through our coaching engagement. She's amazing.
Wow. See, you never know what career path you may go down and how.
Absolutely. But getting people started in terms of that interview, or if they're switching careers, we spend a lot of time on their resume and doing mock interviews to help them build their confidence and build their toolkit of the examples that they would communicate in an interview, because today everything is behavioral interviewing. Tell me about a time when. So your past performance is an indication of your future performance. So you got to be able to speak on the fly, but not BS it, right? So helping them prep with all the things in their toolkit and put them in the buckets. So if you're asked a particular question that gets to leadership competency, you can pull that. If you get a question that gets to technical and what project did you work on and the impact, you can pull from that. So you come off savvy and confident and you stand out.
I love it. We got to make yourself stand out. That's another thing too, right? And to
Absolutely.
reinvent ourselves. So normally, how long does it work to work with a coach? Do you have different programs, different rates? How long does it take to get that change that you're looking for? Which is probably different for everyone, but
yeah, exactly. It's different for everyone. So I have one-on-one coaching, which is just individual sessions, one at a time. I do not market that as much because you're building a relationship, and if they're trying to get to the desired state, that's usually not in one session. Even one mock interview is probably not enough. So what I offer at a minimum is 6 weeks coaching practice up to 12 weeks. And then based on where we're at, then I ask them to renew or re-enroll, and then we continue the journey. So I don't get too much into pricing on these types of calls, because I do want to have a introductory call with them first. So I do offer a 30-minute free consultation.
awesome.
And I send, once they book with me, they get an email with an intake form, which asks them to answer some questions so that I'm better prepared for the conversation, given that it's only 30 minutes.
Just like
just like you. Oh, there you go. You got to know
all the
what
information,
you're
send out the questionnaire, and I get to know you. Yep.
Exactly. So from there, then they also get to experience a little bit of what coaching is. So one of the questions I do ask is, have you ever worked with a coach? Have you ever experienced coaching? And a lot of times, depending on their level and their career, the answer is no. So I discuss with them what coaching is and what it is not. We naturally are used to being told what to do, right? By a SME, subject matter expert. Coaching is not a subject matter expert profession. I do not have all the answers. That is not my role. My role is to ask you questions that normally are not asked of you and go deeper, because I am very confident that you as the client, you have the answer within you. It's just that people have not asked you those questions in the past, because that's not what we're trained to do. Like, I've been trained and certified on specific questions to ask, and not to ask surface level questions, but to understand and go deeper to understand the why beneath the why. So I go deeper. So it's kind of like the fishbone exercises is you ask why 5 times and you go deeper and deeper. I don't ask why. I have a certain way that I ask questions, and it starts with being curious, right? Where you thought where you needed to go in your desired state. Once we go through, you realize you really want to be here. And so once we are on the same page of where you want to be, then we discuss your big motivating factor. What's your big why, right? For me, it's my kids, right? Being able to live as long as I can, healthy, to grow up and see them grow up, right? So everything I do is for them, their why. And so once we understand where they desire to be, then we have to develop clear goals. If you don't have goals, where are you going?
Yeah.
What's your compass, right? And so we develop the goals together, and that's what we anchor to every time we meet. And out of each conversation comes co-created actions. I'm not saying you must do this, but based on the questions I ask and what comes up for you, and only when you get stuck do I ask permission to give you a suggestion.
Got it.
And if that's what you decide to go with, we've still co-created that together, because you're deciding to try something.
Awesome.
And you try that in between our sessions. Everything is about what happens after we meet. That is the follow through, the setting up conditions for success so that follow through happens. And sometimes that's getting an accountability partner to help you in between our sessions. So when we meet again and I say, what's been going well since the last time we met? I'm hearing all the positive first, because everybody likes to jump to the negative. No, let's always start on a high note.
Okay.
And let's celebrate and appreciate what you have done. And then the challenges turn into feedback. Okay. No judgment. What was the challenge? Well, I didn't get to this. Okay, let's talk about it. And then we co-create new things to try out of those challenges. And it's curated a little over time, so you build new habits.
All right. Well, I apologize. We are out of time. One more time, tell us the website, how we could reach you, please.
Sure. Again, you can reach me at www.lifechapterscoaching.com or 703-268-8075.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Jill. Great talking to you.
Thanks again. You too. Have a fantastic day. To all of our listeners, we'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.